Hi there, Lewis Sillery again from TakeTwoFilms, and this time I'll be discussing what I've learned from my own research into the crime genre. My initial research into the crime genre began when I chose my genre, and I was drawn to this genre as many directors like Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese's work inspired me and appealed to me. That genre was obviously the crime genre. I started out my research in depth on The Godfather, and it was directed in 1972, and it was when the crime genre started to pick up pace. I learned a lot from this film, and my research has helped me understand what I want to achieve with my film trailer. The Godfather's conventions are what most typical modern day crime films rely on. The heavy use of props, the focus on facial expression, and the ability to shock the viewer so much that they would like to watch the film over and over again. Throughout this film, it's clear to see what conventions are important, like weapons, but obviously I wouldn't use a Tommy gun, as it is dated, and I can convert the conventions that I've seen in The Godfather into modern day conventions, which can benefit my trailer a great deal, as The Godfather's conventions laid the groundwork for more modern films, like my next film that I will be talking about, Goodfellas. Another older film, Goodfellas, has also inspired my research, as it is a crime classic from the legendary Martin Scorsese. One way that this film has inspired me is how it has used characters, and the film follows Henry Hill's rise to the top of the mob, and elements like drug addiction and violence have been used as the story is being told, and the plot seems basic, but it's an inspiring film to watch as it has a great reflection in my evaluation, as it shows a huge contrast between the modern films of the crime genre and the old. The film has inspired me with the use of camera angles and shots, and this film particularly uses the legendary Martin Scorsese shot, where the camera, on a Steadicam, follows through the room as the main character narrates, with no cuts at all, and it flows smoothly. This shot has inspired me for my trailer, and you know that I would like to incorporate this fantastic camera shot into my trailer as homage to the legendary director Martin Scorsese. The third film that I researched and analysed was Nightcrawler, and this time we're fast forwarding 24 years and seeing a very different perspective of the crime genre. In this film we see the typical gruesome murders like in all crime films, but with a twist. The film follows Lewis Bloom on his rise to the very top of his rather unusual job as a freelance photographer for a local news station, where he photographs and films murders, car crashes, everything, and then sells it to the local news station for a big sum of money, and then he will continue to do this every day. The film is obviously very different to The Godfather, but it still uses the same conventions and camera angles, and doesn't use props like camera equipment and cars to create a different crime film, whereas it isn't Tommy guns and like money, mafia, suits, the usual sort of thing that you'd expect to see. Nightcrawler isn't your typical crime film, but it is equally as shocking as The Godfather, and the most shocking scene is when Lewis pulls up to a fatal car crash and sees that the person who he turned down a huge job opportunity from in favour of competing with him was involved in the fatal car crash and was killed, and he still films it. There was also a police shootout at the end, but unlike other crime films, it's not between the main character and the police. Lewis isn't the antagonist, even though what he's doing is morally wrong, but he's still earning money even if it isn't appealing to everyone. This crime film isn't your typical crime film, and I have to say that it's very shocking, as at the end, Lewis's partner, Ricky, is killed whilst Lewis films him, and even though he has the opportunity to save him, he still films him, and this is definitely, this brings the pure emotion that you'd expect to see in crime films, but to another level, showing how it's developed, as it isn't your typical cold-blooded killer. It's someone that's obviously socially different, and Lewis Bloom is your average guy with an eye for success, but he's also very different in the fact that he's willing to take any risk so that he can just get the money that he wants and also become successful. This film was inspired by my future trailer as the way it is used setting. LA is perfect. It's displayed all the areas of the huge city in his business and what he does. The conventions have also inspired me, as I know that I do not have to follow neither the cops or robbers. It could be outsiders like Lewis Bloom, but they still have some involvement in the plot, even though they're not directly involved. And towards the end of the film, Ricky, Lewis's partner, is involved, and then obviously he dies, not to ruin it. Focus was another film that I researched, and this film was a new release from early 2015, and I watched it in the cinema. So I was able to soak up the atmosphere from the huge speakers and the large screen, so I could focus on all the props and everything, all the cinematography aspects in the film whilst I was in there. And this film is related to The Godfather and Goodfellas in a way, as it follows a criminal, Nicky, and his female companion and lover, Jess. The reason why I chose this film is because I've researched it because the conventions rely more on materialistic values like money, watches, fast cars, jewellery, everything, and I pointed out this during my extensive research. This film is similar in some ways to The Godfather and Goodfellas, but it however doesn't in other ways. The film portrays Nicky, but he's also in love with Jess, and the plot is related to both crime and love side of the story. And the two polar opposite plots get tangled during the middle and the end of the film. And the reasons why I love this film is because it challenges the conventions with the character Jess, and it is also very psychological, as you hear Nicky describing how he can capitalise on the way the body works when reacting to theft, gambling, and towards the end of the film, women. The film challenges conventions, but I've gained more of an insight on the genre and also how I want my trailer to look, as I think I can use a male protagonist and a female companion for my final trailer, and change the way the viewer watches my trailer, as they'll be expecting your typical basic storyline with cops versus robbers, the usual sort of stuff. And I think that my research has really inspired me for what I would like to achieve in my trailer, and also I know how the sound is important, how obviously editing is important, as I would like to use the Martin Scorsese shot where it's just one flat clip where there's no editing, no cuts, nothing involved, and also how I would like to use props, as I would like to have more of a focus onto small significant props, like in focus there is the gaffer tape across Jess's mouth, which shows obviously that she's in great danger, and also the obviously big glaring props that we all see and that we do not turn a blind eye to, like the weapons, the knives, the everything, and then also the location. And obviously I would like to film in New York when I'm there on holiday, and I think this will benefit me for what I'd like to achieve towards the end of my trailer, as I think that using New York as the basic plot and the setting for my film would be perfect, as it's different to what everyone else around me will be doing for their final film trailer. And also I don't have to use the whole setting, I can obviously change it in different ways, use the UK, and not necessarily change it so that it looks like New York, but change it so that it looks like the film was changed location. And I think that this will challenge the conventions as well, seeing as most films are all set in one definite place, whereas if my film was set across the world, I think that it would be perfect, because I don't have to necessarily show scenes like from focus where they have it in Buenos Aires, LA, everywhere, Las Vegas, everywhere. It can just be New York and the UK, and I think this would be perfect, as Goodfellas and Heat and obviously The Godfather have stayed in one place, also like Nightcrawler. And I think that most films do challenge the conventions and also use the conventions as a way to promote the film in the trailers, and I think this would be perfect for what I would like to achieve in my trailer, as I can change conventions as well as conform into the conventions, and I think this will help me achieve my ultimate success in creating a fantastic film trailer for what I and all the examiners will enjoy. I've been your host, Lewis Sillery from TakeTwoFilms, and I hope that you look out for more future blog posts across the summer and also into the final stages of my process in creating a film trailer and also the evaluation process. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in future blog posts and videos.